interested in the recording. And I want, so then chain for 15 and then come back. All right. All right. Now I'm gonna have to go here. I'm gonna have to go there. Okay. We're here. And then we're gonna take this guy here. We're gonna go here. All right, we're going live on the very first Coach Robert live show. Here we go. For vocal athletes, people that are boom. We got Oz, we got Kaz, we got Josh, and we've got James in the house.
Recording in progress.
Boom. Hey, JG.
Hey, how's it going?
JG, what you doing, man?
I've been preparing for 2 weeks, getting up at 7:30 in the morning for this, not realizing it started at 12 noon.
You're not the only one. You're not the only one. I was like full out. Hey, guys, welcome. Good morning, Kaz. Good morning, Oz. Good to see you again, buddy.
What's going on, brother?
Hey. All right. So we got people coming in. We got Josh, Kaz twice, Foley, Oz, and James. Very cool. No, I was full out standing here last Saturday morning.
Okay.
You know? I was like, wait a minute, nobody came to my party, you know. And then I looked at the schedule and I was like, oh, okay, all right. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. How you guys doing?
Awesome.
All right, that's good. It's good. All right, so we're not going to wait on the slow comers. We're just going to get straight into this, okay? It's the first time that we've done a live training program, so I appreciate you guys with your patience with this. As we continue to do this, we will reiterate. We will work on. Hey, Folly, hi, it's good to see you. Welcome,
Hey.
welcome. Good to see you. All right, and so we're going to reiterate. We're going to see how we do a group session. Make sure we get value for everybody. All right, I do have a little bit of experience with this in regards to cohort training, that sort of thing. But okay, okay, all right, okay. We're getting some sound. Okay, all right. So let's just go ahead and introduce each other since we're a class. Want to get to know each other a little bit. Just a real quick introduction. And then what I want to do is sort of, all right, so let's go ahead and hit your mute. Hit your mute. Oz. Okay, hopefully that'll, okay, weird.
Yeah, don't mind me. Don't mind me. Never used this before.
All right, that's you, Josh. You need to turn on your video, and I'm going to mute your audio. Okay, so, all right, guys, can you hear me? Okay, great. So let's go ahead and turn your audio back on because I do want this to be fully interactive. 2 ways. Kaz. All right. Okay, and here comes Amy. All right, so let's just make introductions because we are a class. We get to know each other a little bit, all right? And then what I want to do is I'm going to go through, there's a couple of things that students have needs for. Just some basic customer service stuff like how do I log in? All right, so I am going to take a little bit of time to go over that stuff. Some of you guys that are veterans that have been doing this before, it might be a little bit slow for a moment, but let's just make sure that people can get to their training page and they can log into the website and that sort of thing. All right. And as we go forward, I'll try to go super fast. And as we go forward, we might divide the classes from experienced folks and people that are brand new and just bought the program yesterday. Does that make sense? Okay. And as we go, if you have any suggestions, all right, because we're going to do this together. We're going to figure out how this works. Okay. What we can do to make it better or breakouts or whatever, then let's build this experience together. Okay. Cool. Amy, it's good to see you. All right. Okay. So let's just real quick, let's do a round table, a little bit of introduction on who we are, real quick, where we're coming from, how long we've had the program perhaps, and what do you hope to get out of the group class. We'll start with JG up in New York.
Hi, I'm Jimmy, New York City. I took a bunch of lessons with Coach Robert, and I started out, if I could sing E flat 4, it was a miracle, and I'm now most days getting up to G sharp 4 in songs. It's not 100%, but and I just want to keep going, and hopefully get up to C5, and have it sound musical.
Yep. Thanks. Works real hard, trains real hard, has a big heart, keeps going, gets better. Yeah. So have some physical challenges we got to train through, but the physical training will get through it. Kaz?
Hi everyone, I'm Kaz. I'm half Irish, half South African. I've been with Robert's Lunte's course since April, I think it was 2019, and then COVID hit. And then I was really going full out, but then last year I had a tragedy, so I had to slow down a bit. But now I'm full on back in, and I've actually got straight through to stage 5 actually.
Wow.
And I've noticed that my bridging and connecting is getting a lot stronger. But for me, the challenge now is I'm trying to do musicals, so I'm trying to get that E6, E7 note, and but I try to do a lot of onsets. I try and keep up with the track and release, and I do a lot of the special, the special training courses you've got with the groove and the connections and the collaborations, the articulations. I try and add that a lot to my routine daily. But I also feel sometimes I get a bit despondent. I think, I'm just getting to my voice to that level where I think, it's sounding more boomy. And then all of a sudden that falsetto side comes out and I think, oh God, I could start from the beginning again. But it's a challenge, but it's good. And I do a few live performances and I get invited on karaoke quite a lot. So it's quite exciting. So thank you, Robert. I'm in this for the kill.
Yeah, I know you are. I know all you are. And we will, for lack of a more polite term, we will get killed. My students succeed. They just do. They just do. If we do the work, and some of the reasons why I'm here is because this is long overdue. Can all agree. I needed to do this for years ago, and I won't go into reasons why I couldn't get to it, but now we're getting to it. Okay. So anyways, it's great to have you here, Kaz. Appreciate all your support through the years, and let's get value out of this. My old friend Oz.
Hey, how you doing, bro?
What's going on, man? Get me caught up real quick.
Yeah. So now as you probably see, it's Mystic Oz. Oz was my old name, and Mystic's a new name, or you can call Oz, whichever, or it's fine. I'm actually living over in Maryland right now with my wife. She's a travel nurse, so we're like moving every couple months now.
Okay.
But I started when Kaz did. Yeah, right. Actually, about the same time as Kaz did. But I've been pretty much on and off over these past couple of years. And a few months ago, I ended up getting back into it, but I was starting with another program, a different program, just to kind of see like differences in teaching styles and so on and so forth. And after I've been a little bit more consistent with it, I felt more confident in being able to hop back into this program, because originally when I started going through it, my biggest thing was diaphragm. I wasn't realizing that I wasn't able to get into the head voice with, the more boominess, because I had constriction in my throat while I'm also trying to articulate at the same time.
Yeah.
So other program had a real strong emphasis on diaphragm and breathing before you got into anything else.
Okay.
So by doing that, I started to develop my diaphragm a little bit more, and I'm actually feeling and knowing what it's supposed to sound like as I go higher up in the registers. So once I saw that, I was like, okay, I really want to go jump back into this, because your program's extremely comprehensive. there's so much stuff in there that can be utilized. I was going back to it just to learn about the lyrics, because doing your lyric sheet and just finding all your the onsets to get into these words, it's such a big deal. So I was like, okay, cool, I want to get back to this. But when I found out that you were going to do this class, it was like, that was just basically the nail in the coffin, so to speak. I wanted to be a part of being able to work with other people more than just like on a forum, being able to talk and communicate. And it's a very different experience.
Yep. Long overdue. Yep.
But
well, thank you. And you've been on quite a journey, man. Like, I know a little bit about it, and now I know even more about it. And that's great. And it's great too. It's a good idea to go out and find some other ideas that are out there that are available. There's a lot of great stuff out there, but when you are looking for methodology and you're looking for, let's get through here and let's get here. Let's get to the belting stuff, come back home. Come back home.
Awesome.
That
Thank
sounds
you.
great.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, so Foley and Amy, these folks been with me through the years a bit, but I see some new faces here, and so don't be shy, okay? And if you can, get on your feet, okay? Because we're gonna train on our feet and be and like get ready to go to work here, which we'll get to as soon as possible. There you go. We train on our feet. So I hope I'm saying it right. Is it Foley?
It's Foulet.
Foley.
Yes. So I'm Foulet. I'm currently in Montreal, but I'm from Paris. So sorry for my French accent.
No, it's cool. We like it.
So I'm a soprano in a gospel choir, and so I usually like just sing, but I would like to take care of my voice, making sure I'm doing the right thing, and having the strength to carry on for a long time.
Okay.
And that's really my goal. And also, I think you probably saw some videos on the community. I'm trying to make sure I have the good placement when I'm belting, because sometimes I'm just going into the falsetto and it's not consistent. Let's say that. So yeah, and I started during the program during the early this summer. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. And so it's interesting. You say you're in a choir group, but you're working on your belting.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Great. Yeah. So let's get across it. So even in a choir group, especially if we're going to do a solo, we want to get through the passaggio and get a little higher, don't we? It's great. It's great to have you here, and I commend you in making the time today to be here on the weekend. That says a lot for your commitment, and we'll get something out of it. And Amy, what's going on? Introduce yourself, please, and where you at in the program, and let's rock.
Yeah, hi. So I bought the program some time ago into the pandemic. I started singing, but I haven't actually gone through the classes, so I'm actually pretty new to it. And when this course happened, I was like, oh, this is a great way to get me started. Like just the course, look at something from the course and then bring it to the class. And so I've been working, just as I'm practicing, I'm working on my mixed voice, kind of bridging that gap from the chest to the head.
Okay.
And so I've come some ways with that. I think I'm still trying to find a way to get the tone that I want when I sing certain notes. I think it's not quite there yet, but I'm not sure what to do. So hopefully that course, your course will help me as I go through it. And then also just continue to work on how to belt and how to sing more powerfully, especially the higher notes, and any other technique would be all helpful for me.
Came to the right place. Where are you located?
In New Jersey.
Okay, Jersey. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we have 3 veterans here and 2 beginners. So that's great. So what we want to do is vets, we're going to move, and it's actually good for you as well. I have it written down here. I want to make sure that we have our facilities set up and ready to go, because we can't train if we can't log in, and we're not on the training page and all that sort of thing. Okay. So Foley, Amy, I am assuming that you do have the program, correct? Okay, great. So first thing I want to do with everyone here is, as we have this 90-day training page and training routine that I provided on Evernote. You all the vets have seen it before. Newer people should have seen it. When you purchased the program, you should have got a link and then took you out to the Evernote. So I'm going to share my screen with you here real quick, okay? And show you this very important document. All right. Does everybody have access to this?
Yes.
Yep. Oz, do you need an update?
I would need an update, yeah. Please.
Okay. All right. So we'll go out to your folder real quick, buddy. Hang on here. See, would it be under Oz? It wouldn't be under Oz for sure.
Probably Osman Camaro.
Osman. Okay. because I've updated this template. All right, so you're not in here for some funky reason, but that's okay. So hang on, team. I'm gonna copy paste this and get Oz this document. Okay, real quick. This is not the right one. We want this one. Okay.
I don't think I have it either, Robert.
All right, so that's why we're doing this. This is super important. Let's make sure that everybody has one of these. So hang on here real quick.
I was gonna say, if you click on that share icon up in the top, you can send it directly to my Evernote.
Directly to your Evernote, yeah.
I believe so.
Gosh,
Click
I
on
don't know
share
how to
button.
send that directly to your Evernote, but hang on. But you are onto something here. I will use the share feature. That will go a little bit faster. Okay, copy link.
Just set it for view only though. When they invite someone.
I believe so.
Oh, okay. You're using a link. Never mind. My bad.
Yeah, I'm going to drop a link in here. Anyone with the link can view. I think this will work. Okay. All right, take a look at the text message, guys, on Zoom. Jim, you have this. Can't hear you, buddy.
If that works. Awesome.
All right, is everybody clicking on that? Can you see that? All right, so.
Yeah, let me just check that I have that. Sorry.
Oh, you have that, Jim, but it's okay. Well, go ahead and check.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, it's right there.
Yep. All right. So this is let's go back out here real quick. Who is this new to who? Who, I mean, is this new to you, Foley and Amy?
No, I already tried to start it, but I was confused about what to do exactly.
All right. That's why we're here today. Okay, Amy, looks like it's new to you. And even though it's a new updated version. All right, so let's just go ahead and take a quick look at this. All right, it's super important. It's one of the main things I wanted to do today. Okay. All right, so can everybody see my screen? Yeah, okay. This template, it says 90-day training page, but I could also say that it is foundation building. Truly, it is foundation building. We all know that the course, the program has a lot of content. You can go in a lot of different directions, and that's cool. However, we have to build a physical foundation if we're going to go in these other directions, especially since this is a lot about physical training. Okay, so in a sense, what I'm saying with this template here is I'm saying this is the bare minimum. This is the absolute requirement for your training, for sure, in the first 90 days, but then beyond that as well. You're going to refer back to this guy, okay? To get results. To get the results. What kind of results are we talking about? Well, get some movement through the passaggio without choking and pushing. Get some connectivity and some vocal fold closure reduction in the head voice so that we're not always in falsetto. Get the resonance forward behind the back of the top teeth in the hard palate so that our resonance is working for us and it's not down in our throat and heavy and bulky and working against us. Things like embouchure. And also what this template does is it helps you to understand how to work inside the program. Because the program's 24 hours of content. It's big, there's a lot in there. You can get swallowed up and get lost. So this sort of teaches you how to find stuff inside the program. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at it. Does anybody have any questions so far? No? Okay, all right. Up here, I'm just gonna walk through this and then we can do some, ask questions along the way if you have any, okay? but I will go fairly quickly. This is just simply if you do private lessons, which is not what we're doing today. But if we do private lessons, I'm going to just keep track of that if you bought a book. That's all that is here. These links here are just sort of like, you know, buy some more lessons, schedule a lesson. This is sort of related to private lessons. In the past, and still today, this template goes out to people that do private lessons, as well as my my new class folks. Okay, all right. So starting here, observations and homework. All right. So when you're doing private lessons, I'm going to date stamp each lesson, and I'm going to make observations about your training, and then I will assign homework for you. Okay. Again, this is for sort of was originally oriented for the one-on-ones, but I can do this for you inside the class as well. But what I'll be doing is be giving you individual homework through the group class. Okay. If we do a one-on-one, then you'll get your own template. And those of you, some of the veterans like Kaz and Oz and Jim, you guys have this, so I can fill this in for you. And if you'd like me to make your own template so I can do this for you as well, I'd be happy to consider that. All right, so we're past the one-on-one stuff. Your first 30 to 90 days. This is very relevant. Make sure that you're logged into the course. All right, so Foley, Amy, everybody, are you logged into the course? If you look at me, you can see I'm over here, I'm logged into the course. I'm on the inside, I'm ready to go. Okay. Are you logged into the course?
Yes. Yes.
All right, okay, got to be logged in because Amy, Foley, everybody, when you click these links, they're going to take you right to where you want to go. And that's one of the things that makes this a good, all right? So you don't have to fish around and figure out where you're going to go. Foley, you're just going to click a link and it'll take you to where you want to go. All right, so let's go back here and explain this training page. The 4 Pillars of Singing has 2 interfaces, 2 user interfaces. One interface is the course. It's sort of the thing that you expected to get when you purchased. So where is it? Yeah, right here. This guy right here. This is the course. This is lectures. Talking about vowels, talking about lang stamping, talking about resonance, talking about the onsets. Okay. So this is the theory and the lecture content. Okay. It also does, people sometimes don't realize this, but if you scroll all the way down here to the tail end, it also has the workouts. So for example, I'm clicking on this. This is the blues workout groove rock ballad, which is a really cool workout. Okay. So this course interface has everything. It has the lectures and the training. And on the training content here, what we do when we're training, practicing, I provided, this is the rock ballad, a video, okay? A video with a quick little introduction, but then it very quickly gets into this. Where I'm drilling through the workout. The idea is that the student would sing along with the video. All right, just jump right on my back here and just train with me. Ladies, you might move the workout a little bit forward so that it's not too low in the beginning. Simple things. So you know, just jump forward about 5 notes or so, and you jump on and go. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Polly, Amy, Kaz, veterans, Jim, Oz, Kaz, is this new to you in any way? Because there's a chance you may have not known this.
I actually did a revision this week, so yes, it's updated. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So let's just review real quick. We have this amazing training program. There's 2 user interfaces. There's a lecture phase, sort of what you expected to get when you made your investment. And then we're going to get to a training page here in a second. Right now, we're looking at the big course, which happens to also have training content in. Lecture up at top, training content down the bottom. When we get to the training lesson, Amy, fully, what we're going to do is you're going to click on the workout, you're going to jump on the video, and you're going to train with me. Now, you might be thinking, well, gosh, there's techniques going on while he's training. I see, there's, how do I get through the passage? Well, that all happens at the lectures. Okay, back at the lectures, you're presumably you're learning this, and you're testing these techniques, and then you take it for a test drive through the workouts. Okay. Okay. So after you've been training with Robert, okay, then what you want to do is eventually get to, here's the notation for those of you that read notation, and you don't have to be a really great notation reader to get benefit from this. All right, all this is saying is, Maestro Kyle once said to me, famous voice coach I worked with for years, he once said to me, I'll never forget, that you don't have to be a great note reader. When the notes go up, you go up. When the notes go down, you go down. All right. And it's true. It's not to say that, Jim, it's not to say that when you go up that you're not going to be a little flat or a little sharp. That's a different discussion. But just by putting your eyes on it and seeing a pattern is helpful. Okay. All right. And then down here, team, what this is the solo workouts, the piano file that Rob's training up here in the video without Rob. Okay, so this is the solo content here. All right, so this is broken up into a couple different options. We have what we call a groove file, and a groove file is a training file that has a MIDI. I call them sort of the chanting monks behind it. Again, you can just sort of get on top and train with the monks. Here's what it sounds like. Oh, it's not the monks. I'm sorry. There are a few files from time to time that are not need to be fixed in here. But let's go down here. So we have men's and women's files. Okay. So all this means is the men's files start 5 notes lower on a low G, I believe. Okay. And for women, it starts on 5 notes higher. Because of what happens, ladies, is if you get on the men's thing here, it's really low and it's way too low for you and you'll be totally lost. Okay, so then what you're going to do is you're going to jump on the women's version. It's the same workouts, just edited for ladies, starts a little higher. Okay, so they've been genderized to some extent. All right, does that make sense? Okay, so that is sort of the training interface, which is important because this is a lot about training, and then some helpful notes, things to remember for each workout. All right, back to our notepad over here. Okay, the other training interface is the training page. So there's actually a separate page that has all of these workouts here towards the end of the course down here. It has them all isolated on their own page. So this is the same workouts. I can probably just grab the one I was just doing. Yeah, there it is. There's Rock Ballad again on another training page. You see that? Okay. You may be asking, so there's redundancy. Same content in the course, in the lecture stuff, and then separated on its own page. Because anybody have a good idea? That's if it's really obvious to you. Let's let the newer folks try to struggle on this a bit. Why am I doing that? Why did I create a separate training page with the same content that can be fished out of the main course? Foley, Amy?
Yes, just to make sure that we can practice directly if we want.
That's right. That's right. Because if you try to find the training content out of the lecture, it's just, you got to scroll down. It's just a little more difficult to find it. You have to sort of fish it out. So what I want to do is I want to put all the training content on one training page. So when you're ready to train, you have a microphone in your hand, you're ready to go practice, you just go to one page. Play, stop, play, stop, play, stop. Does that make sense? Right. So it's a convenience for you. It's a service for you that makes things, it's going a little extra mile for you so that So you can just be more efficient with your training. All right. Any questions with this team so far? Okay, all right. That's what this link is doing right here. So you want to train right at the top, boom, click on it and go. All right. Now, let's talk about your facilities. When I say facilities, I mean a keyboard, a room, a microphone, hopefully, that sort of thing. Okay. It's funny, coincidentally, when I think about facilities, I can't help but think about Oz, who, when he first came on board, remember your facilities you had?
Yeah.
Man.
It was write everything down that he said. Okay, now go through and set every single one of those things up.
Yeah. And nobody did it like Oz. Maybe we can share a story here. But in regards to the let's go back to here real quick. I'm missing something, and that's my students. So does anybody have any questions about this in vets? Jim, Oz, Kaz, do you have any advice or any observations about sort of the workflow and interfacing regarding the course versus the training page that we could probably share with Amy and Foley by chance? Anybody? Not that you have to, but if you had anything that would be helpful, that now would be the time. Yeah.
The way it's scheduled, set up right now is actually tremendously helpful. I mean, it's
Okay.
one thing to kind of help guide you, but it also helps to create a basically focus. Because if I'm sitting here, I just need to train. Click here, do this, click here, do this, click here, do this. It's much more structured and easier to get to for convenience, so to speak. But, you know, everything else.
Yep, that's the point. Okay, all right. So I think I will stop, and we want this to be engaging for everybody. So I'll be asking you guys to pitch in and ask questions or provide your observations as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about facilities. This is super important. Facilities. So when you're training, on this page, you have, okay, get to the website, quick start video, which is part of what I'm just telling you right now. Let's start here. Let's go here. Keyboard. Students that practice and train have to have a keyboard, not to play a song, but especially in our program here, but to be able to just pluck down individual notes and do melodic fifth and octave intervals in particular for the siren work and the bridging work that we're going to be doing. Okay, you're not going to get on this keyboard and start playing rock ballad. Not you could, because you have some of you have the notation if you know how to play piano. God bless you. But it's really for us. It's just to poke a note for onsets and to frame simple intervals. But we have to have a keyboard. So does everybody have a keyboard? It doesn't have to be an expensive thing. It can be, a plastic toy, anything that you can poke to get some notes out of. Yes, yes, Foley, Amy, clear, good. Jack. All right. Right here is just a little virtual piano keyboard. If you run out of batteries or whatever, like I just did, you can go out here and grab a keyboard that's a sort of a backup plan. Okay, good. Let's talk about privacy. When we train the voice, there's no secrets about the fact we're going to make some funny sounds. We're going to be loud. We're going to be obnoxious at times. We're going to quack like ducks. We're going to do some funny things. Okay, so it's important, especially for beginners early on, that you get some privacy. Okay, because if your little sister's got her ear to the door and she's giggling at you, it's hard to focus on what you're doing. Okay, and people don't get it. Neighbors don't get it. Family don't get it. People don't get it. Do not expect them to early on to get what the hell it is you're doing in there. They'll think you lost your mind. Okay, but there's a silver lining to this. Believe me when I tell you. Okay, even if it's a scale, once you start laying down a scale and you start bridging through the passaggio and you start getting the high stuff, and it's not even a song yet. It's just maybe it's a workout with a nice melody. It's got some sort of musical element to it, or maybe it's just a siren. It doesn't matter. When the average person hears the human voice amplified with beautiful resonance and beautiful power and at high sound pressure levels, it's just amazing for anybody that hears it. It's like, holy mackerel, I don't know exactly what I'm listening to right now, but I'm going to stop underneath the window and listen for a while. because that person is doing something really amazing and strange, but outstanding with their voice. I can hear that that's a human voice, but not like I've ever heard before. There's something really freaky about it, and it's fascinating to me. Okay, so train, practice, get to that point, and people will just love to hear you train. A lot of people will. Okay, all right. So let's talk about our facilities a little bit. All right, Jim, let's try to go quickly with it here. Let's inspire the newer folks about facility. Jim, what's your facility look like? What do you got?
Well, because I'm a bass player and songwriter, I have a 8x8 practice room to keep the neighbors from complaining. It's not soundproof, but it muffles the sound for them, you know. And I got the keyboard, and I'm standing up right now, you know. So it took me a while to set everything up. I got to be honest, you know. I mean, set everything up for the lessons.
Okay. All right, but for your training as well. But now you've got some privacy. You got a keyboard there ready to go. Everything. So
yeah.
All right. Oz, what do you got going for your facilities? You have everything covered?
Yeah. Keyboard, microphone, mirrors.
Yeah.
Multiple machines, computers for documents and anything in regards to what I'm training at that moment. Headphones. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So Oz has a tendency to kind of go a little overboard on his tech and stuff, and you guys don't have all that, but that's good. That's great. Kaz, what do you have for your training facilities?
I'm very happy to know I have a mic.
Yep.
And because I travel a lot, I have to sometimes hire a room. So I actually got the special room for today.
Okay.
And I got my computer laid out. I got all my programs opened. I have a little speaker. It's so cute. It's not the best, but this I carry with me just so I can have some volume with my mic.
There you go.
And then I have my iPad up on there and my iPhone there with the Evernote and different programs that are open.
Perfect.
And then I've got a keyboard, but I've actually put it on my computer for now because I travel a lot, so I can't always carry it with me. But I do have a spare one when I go to different places. So that's me for now.
That's great. I like Kaz's facility because it's also portable. You heard her. She can take that stuff with her and pour around. I used to have a small amp in my car in my Jeep that I would take around with me when I needed to give lessons or train. Okay, so underscore, it doesn't have to be fancy stuff. Really, it can be just an old beat up keyboard that you bought at a pawn shop, your basement, your attic, Uncle Joe's shed, a band rehearsal facility for $8 an hour, renting the church when they're not using it, the YMCA. Get creative to find a space. All right. And in lesson number 1 of the course, you may have noticed, I go right to that. It's like right after the welcome, the first lesson is, okay, facilities. And then I give you some examples of some ideas on where you can go to find some training space. Okay. So Amy, Foley, Amy, what do you have together for your facilities?
I have the keyboard. I don't have a mic. I was thinking about getting one, so I'll probably get around to getting one soon. And then I do have privacy other than, I mean, I'm fine with my husband hearing me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I live in a house, so I don't actually have neighbors. If my windows are closed, that can hear me.
Yeah, cool. Good for you. And lucky you. Some people can just fire up in their own home, and that's just great. Okay. Foley, are you covered? Do you have some privacy? Do you have some stuff?
Yes, I have some privacy. I'm a student, so I'm living in an apartment, and it's really good. I don't hear their neighbors, and I don't think they're hearing me when I'm practicing. I have the mirror, the piano, but I don't have the mic yet.
Okay.
So yes, because I tend to think that I'm hearing better when I don't have the mic. It's weird, but I feel that. But I will try to get a mic to make sure I'm hearing. Yeah.
Right. That sounds great. Sounds like everybody's covered, especially the newer folks. So training with a mic is not absolutely critical. And if you are a really, Foley, you really like a hardcore choral singer, Yeah, I'm a choral person. That's my passion. That's where I'm going. Then maybe even more, you don't need the mic at some point. Okay. So we don't have to have the amplification. However, it's recommended as an option. Okay. And those of you that are a little bit more, we're going to do R&B, we're going to do rock. We need a belt. We need to get more physical, literally more physical. We want to have amplification. Okay. And so the amplification is, yes, it does help you to hear yourself a little better at times, but you want to know what the most important reason for the amplification is, in my opinion, for me, at least. For me, this is what it's all been like, mostly been about for many years. Some of you might know, but if you think you know the answer to this, don't answer. Those that are not sure, I want you to give it a try. So what is the number one benefit of having amplification?
Fun.
Huh?
It's fun.
Yes. Oh, you're gonna get an A+ today. It's and people, when they hear that, they feel like, oh, that sounds like maybe that's trivial or something. It's not trivial. It's not any more trivial than a guitarist wants to play a nice guitar and have fun pedals to pound on. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right. It makes training fun. I put one of these in my hand, and it's some night, I'm geeking out a little bit, but it's like a nice handcrafted thing that somebody built in a little shop somewhere. That's kind of cool. Then when I sing through it, and I got just a touch of reverb, I'm sounding big. I'm sounding fantastic. I'm sounding, bigger than life. Okay, and even if I'm just doing a scale,
Yeah.
it kind of comes back to what I was saying earlier. You want to sound bigger than life, and it keeps it fun. And if it's not fun, if you don't get to play with the gear a little bit, if you don't get to hear yourself in an animated, fantastic way with the technology a little bit, then what happens is you wash out. You wash out, you don't practice. So keeping it fun brings you back to the practice session over and over again. At least it always has for me. And I think that's an important point to it. So not saying you have to be as excited about mics as I am, but that's part of what we're doing is we do have a little bit of a relationship with the gear as well as part of the job. Okay. Make sense? Yeah. Okay. Amy, how you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Okay. Does anybody have any questions so far? All right. So we want privacy. We want to be able to log into our course. We want to be able to get on this 90-day page so we can click and get the things quickly early on. I'm recommending amplification. It's not totally required, but it's a good deal. We have to have a keyboard. Okay. Those of you that want a mic, you can go here and just go to the purchase the gear, and there's some stuff out there. It's an Amazon store I put together. Yeah, it's an affiliate store. I'll get like $6 if you buy a mic. All right. But the point is it's all been curated for you. I already found out the stuff that you need, and you can get some system size, sort of like what Kaz has, which has got a little mic with a little amp. Okay. All right. Scrolling down here. Now we get to the training. Cry mode. We talk a lot about cry mode. Cry mode is the physical mode that the larynx goes into, that it must go into. It must go into cry mode if you're going to get anything, any performance out of your voice for any genre. Right? So cry mode is not an option. It's not like, well, I want to sing with vibrato or I don't, or I want to sing high or I don't. It's not a creative decision. Putting your voice and your larynx into this exotic position is critical to get it to do anything you want it to do, which are the things that you want to do because you bought the program. Does this make sense? Cry mode? All right. And so I make a big deal about it. It's at the top of the page. It's in the videos all over. It's got its own module in the course. It's super important. Without cry mode, when you sing, literally, if you're not in cry mode, when you try to sing, you're trying to sing in speech mode.
Yeah.
I mean, and that means the physicality of speech. What I'm doing right now is characterized by thick vocal folds. My vocal folds are a little bit shorter and thicker and bulkier. Okay. And the resonance might be a little bit lazier. It's not targeted and forward as if I'm singing. It's a little throaty. It's a little bit mouthy. It's not in the best position it needs to be, but it's perfectly fine for speech. And those bulkier vocal folds that I'm using right now are what I have to have for speech. Okay. But speech vocal mode doesn't work for singing. If we're going to amplify high frequencies in complex melodic patterns, this position, this physical configuration isn't going to get us there. But if we try to get high frequencies and or complex melodic patterns in speech mode, what happens? Oz, what happens?
Not the result that you're looking for. The best way I can explain it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Kaz, what happens?
I find if I'm not in cry mode, I'm inclined to sound like a squeaky duck. My voice sort of croaks a bit. So once I'm in cry mode, I feel like I'm flowing like a waterfall. It just flows. It sort of has a rhythm and it gets stronger and stronger as the water flows. That's the best way I can explain it. And it goes like, yay, yay. You know, it sort of flows up and then into a rhythm and into a beautiful sort of color.
Yeah. In other words, it is the singing voice. Like it is your singing voice. Oz, you were saying?
I was just, for me, it was more of like a mechanical interpretation, I guess. Kind of like if you're driving a stick shift, the standard transmission. For me, going into cry vocal mode is kind of like pushing that clutch in, getting the car ready to go. If you don't do that first and you just try to grind it into first gear, it's like clunking, falling, making all kinds of weird stuff. This more or less engages you, prepares you, like you said, to jump into it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it takes you into a high performance configuration required not for speech, but for something else called singing, which is really the sports car. Jim, I'm sure you have an opinion on this. Share something with for Amy and Foley on why cry mode is important.
I mean, because you told me about this, like probably the first lesson, trying to get through the passaggio in the beginning, absolutely impossible for me. And then engaging cry mode I started thinking, oh, maybe there's a way for me to do this. Obviously with you, pushing me into that. So sort of what Oz was saying, that it's just like, wow, without it, it's like there was nothing, just hitting a wall, just like a top of my chest voice, just hit a wall,
Literally. So Foley, Amy, have you tried the cry mode? Have you watched the lectures and played around with it yet?
Yes, I tried. I also sent a video in the community to have feedback. Actually, I'm quite a little bit confused because I don't know when you're doing the cry mode, are you supposed to have like the open throat and everything, like you need to focus on that, or is it just making sure the sound is forward?
Those are questions related more to resonance, which are important, but your question reveals that you're confused about cry mode, which is exactly what you were saying. So, all right, and we're gonna do it. I'm gonna end the mic. We're gonna start practicing it. Okay, Amy. How are you? How is your understanding of cry mode? My battery's crapped out, guys. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to drop in new batteries, but I'll be quick. Amy, share with us a little bit about cry mode. Have you played with it?
I haven't watched a video on cry mode, so I don't know if it's something I already know or not. Is it like similar to when you sing really high, you just go into a certain like what's the sensation of crying? Is that what it is?
Well, yeah, it is. It is actually. It includes that. It includes the sensation of crying without being emotionally sad, which is a little bit weird. So the physical feeling of crying is the same, but the context is different. Okay. Sorry for the interruption, guys. Just dropping this in here. I thought they were fresh. Okay. But I've learned through the years how to do this very quick. Boom. All right, I give to D cry mode. Let's do this, all right? Okay, real quick. Review for the vets, beginners. I use a rubber band in the training quite a bit, okay? You'll see it in the videos from time to time. It is a metaphor for voice, for the voice, okay? The voice is two membranes. It's sort of like bands. They come together like this. So this actually works really well. And the voice, the vocal folds can sort of stretch and elongate and shorten. So a rubber band works really nicely. When I am in speech mode, like right now, I preface by saying I'm way oversimplifying, super oversimplifying, but we're not here to do science so much. We're here to just get singing. Okay, so I'm going to keep it simple. When I'm in speech mode, my vocal folds are thick and bulky like this rubber band. Okay. And they are the way they need to be when I'm speaking. However, if I try to sing high notes and complex melodic patterns in a bulky position, like everybody was saying, we run into problems. In particular, I'm going to get constriction. I'm going to get grippiness and constriction. And I'm going to, like Jim was saying, it's going to feel like you're hitting a wall. Okay. So how do we get past that? How do we get the vocal folds in a position that helps us sing and help us do the things we want to do? Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to go into cry mode. All right. Cry mode is, in fact, the among other things, the vocal folds elongate. Okay, they elongate when we're in cry mode. When we're emotionally sad, when we're really crying, the vocal folds elongate. When the vocal folds elongate, it does a couple really cool things for us. Number one, when the vocal folds elongate, Amy, I'm in speech mode. Now I'm in cry mode. Okay, I'm singing, I'm in cry mode, or I'm really sad. What has happened to, what's the difference between the compression on the pen when I'm in speech mode versus cry mode? Amy? Can't hear you.
Oh, it's less when it's more stretched out?
No, think about the physics.
Oh,
I'm
the opposite.
I'm in speech mode. Now, as I pull out on this, is the compression increasing or decreasing?
It's increasing. I see it. Yeah.
When we're in cry mode and we elongate the vocal folds, the compression of the vocal folds increase. Our vocal fold adduction means to add. Abduction means to go away. I've been abducted by aliens. When they brought me back, I was adducted by aliens, okay? So adduction is a vocal term that we're gonna talk a lot about. It's in the book and stuff. It's what voice coaches and singers talk about. They talk about vocal fold adduction. It's fancy for just closure, okay? When I'm in cry mode, I get better compression, the measurement of the adduction, okay? Is this helpful for you guys? Is this making sense? Okay? Singers have to have outstanding world-class vocal fold adduction and compression. Far, far, far more than you will ever need for speech. Okay? If you're going to sing, it has to be at like a super athletic level. Okay? 2. Amy, are you with us? You look like you might be falling asleep. Are you okay?
I'm just taking notes, sorry.
Okay, I was thinking you're either falling asleep or you're taking notes. Yeah, you look like a note taker.
But I'm engaged.
You look like a note taker. I love that. All right, this is important. 2, when we get into this thinned out position, it removes pretty much almost all the pharyngeal constriction. That's fancy talk for the pushing and the choking. Okay, so if we want to sing higher, regardless of the style and the genre, all singers need to go high. They need to get higher. Okay, they need to get above speech mode frequencies, right? So as Jim was saying, when I went into cry mode, I was able to get through my vocal break and get higher. And I know Oz will say that too. I certainly will say that. And Kaz is sitting there going, okay? So singers need to go high. No debate there. If you want to get high with singing, okay, you're going to thin out the vocal folds, all right? It removes all the pharyngeal constriction. It frees the voice from all that pushiness and chokiness that we've all felt before that was a bummer and felt disappointing. Does that make sense? Okay, so if I lean forward to you this morning and I said to you, Amy, I'm picking on you a lot because you're taking notes. Amy, I said to you, if in 2 weeks of practicing cry mode, all of the pushiness and chokiness and instability in your voice when you try to go high would be gone for a lifetime, would it be interesting to you?
Yeah, definitely.
It's a game changer, if there ever was. It radically transformed my voice and my ability to sing. Okay, all right. And number 3, this is super cool. Number 3. And I'm spending a lot of time on cry mode because it's so damn important. Number 3. For the last tens and tens and thousands of years, okay, our ancestors, including us for the last 20,000 years, whenever we were in an emergency, whenever we were stuck in quicksand, when we were running away from a saber-toothed tiger, and we needed to get the attention of the tribe. We needed to get help. Help, I'm being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. Help, I'm sinking in quicksand, or even today, modern times. Help, I shit my diaper. Okay, I need help. Somebody listen to me. What we do is we thin out the vocal folds and we create a siren. We amplify a high frequency to get the attention of the people around us. So it's nature's way of allowing us to scream and be heard and project in a way that the tribe can hear us, that our parents can hear us when we're in an emergency, without hurting ourselves, without damaging the voice. That's the key. So what we're doing in the technique here, that's coming back, that's the background. What we're doing in the technique is we are turning on cry mode. We're going to engage it, and it is the same physical configuration when we're emotionally sad. But the trick is to do it when we're not emotionally sad, which is a different context. It's not that doing it is difficult. It's just, it's a head trip. Like trying to do it when I'm not sad takes a little bit of practice. Fortunately, it's not super complicated. It just takes a couple of days and you'll get it. Okay? Does this make sense?
Yes.
All right. And it will just liberate your voice like you have no idea. So let's go ahead and try. Let's do this. If we go out here to our deal, okay? We have our cry mode lectures here. I'm not going to go into it. It just goes into lecture, just a repeat of what I did with longer hair. Okay. And then we go here to techniques to develop vocal cry mode right here. It takes us, because we're logged in, we're ready to go. It takes us out here to our first technique to get a feel for cry mode. All right. And I think that we should try this now. Okay. So this technique is the 3-step vocal cry mode workflow game. Does that sound familiar to any of you? Yeah, Foley, you tried it and you weren't sure if you were doing it right. Okay. So I'll go ahead and do it for you guys. Everybody get on this page. Click and get on this page. Follow along. I really ought to get a job at the university, I gotta tell you. Okay. Amy, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm just looking for the page, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Make sure you're logged into the course. Go to your Magic Evernote and click on the link that says, down at cry mode, click on the link that says techniques #1. Okay, 3-step vocal cry mode workflow game. You can do this in the shower, you can do this in the car, you can do this in your controlled environment when you're ready to, when you have privacy and you're ready to train. Okay. What we're going to try to do is we're going to go from speech mode to cry mode. We're going to do like a 3-step workflow, and it's really a kinesthetics exercise. It allows us to sort of Foley to help you with your question, with your challenge here. It allows you to actually feel cry mode and know that you're actually doing it when you're doing it, okay? Versus being confused whether you're doing it or not. All right, here's how it works. Step one, I speak to the in speech mode. Okay, just like I'm doing right now, okay? I've been doing that all day. Step two. Now I'm gonna start speaking to you in cry mode, all right? Now it sounds a little bit foolish, it's a little bit super embarrassing, but we talked about that earlier, right? I got privacy, I'm all right. I just want to get to my technique, okay? So you see what I'm doing is I'm now thinking about folks. They're in cry mode, but the context is I'm speaking to you. So what do we get? We get, Robert's sad about something. He's about ready to cry, or he's being cried, his girl broke up with him, something like that. Okay, right? Fine, get ready for that. Now, step three is where the magic comes in. I'm gonna go to my keyboard and I'm gonna give myself a note. I will choose to do something in my head voice because I want to bridge the passaggio and get to the head voice. I want to do this bridging and connecting maneuver, which is sort of what we're doing. All right, in cry mode. So step one in speech mode. Yeah.
I think your noise suppression thing is off because when you go to the mic, it cuts out.
Got it. I'll fix it. No problem. I'll fix it. I know just what to do. Audio adjust, microphone volume. Original sound. Hang on here. Where'd it go? All right, sorry about that, guys. I fixed it. All right, so there's a setting inside Zoom. If that ever happens, you just go into audio and you just throttle it back. I'll do that again, okay? Cry mode, step one, step two, step three. I'm in speech mode. Step two, I'm in cry mode. All right, now I'm gonna give myself a cue to the G4. Here I go. Whoa! That top note, that isn't my speaking voice. I would never speak in there, unless maybe I work at Disney, I'm doing a character voice or something. That is clearly an amplified something or else, something other, all right, that I would use for singing. Okay, does that make sense, Amy? Foley? Does it make sense?
Yes. At the last step, I noticed that you have the embouchure, and do you make sure you have all these prepared, like the embouchure, the tongue position, and the open throat?
Great question. Yeah. So great questions. Kath, would you like to answer that for her in regards to the embouchure?
You want me to answer that?
I do.
When you're getting into cry mode, the way I look at it, it's like I would say, hi, I'm Kaz. And as I'm sort of going into the singing voice, I'm going from speech mode into cry mode. I'm going, hey, hey. So I'm actually getting out of my speech mode, and it feels like I'm flowing. How do you explain it? It's sort of like you can feel you've taken off in a way. And all of a sudden, your voice just seems to go, hey, hey, hey. So in other words, you're not going to go talking to Rob or go talk to someone else in that tone. You're not going to go, hey, my name is Kaz. So in other words, what he's trying to say is you've now stepped out of your comfort zone and you've now gone into what I call like a breakout zone. You're now breaking out. Your voice is now starting to grow like a flower in a way. So think of a bud.
Okay.
All of a sudden you've gone like this and the flower sort of opens.
Right.
And your voice goes, am I making sense, Rob?
Well, you are making sense. What you're doing is you're describing your experience in cry mode, which is helpful, and that's great. But what Foley was specifically referring to, she had sort of a more practical question, which was, do I need a good embouchure when I do this?
Yes, you do.
Do I need my embouchure? Should my embouchure be super? Should it be super? Yes, oui. Your embouchure should be super. All right. What is a super embouchure? Horizontal. Okay. There's like 3 lessons on it. Okay. So that's a really good question, Foley. Because even if I'm doing all this right and my cry mode and everything's great, If my embouchure sucks, if I'm not opening up, it can't get out. It can't get out. So yes, the embouchure needs to be proper. So
And last question, are we dropping the larynx, or is when we switching from the speech mode to the cry mode?
anytime you are training, could be cry mode, could be another workout, could be something else. But anytime you're on a vowel, anytime you're sustaining a vowel, you're gonna have this embouchure shape. Does that make sense? It just so happens that on this workout, I'm going up to an A vowel, so I'm sustaining a vowel, so I'm gonna have to have a proper embouchure. I'll have to have a super embouchure. Pardon my French, but I try. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and try it. All right, you guys want to make sure we get a little bit of training going in here, and then our next lesson, our next group session, everybody's sort of caught up. We got the facilities ready to go, which will be 2 weeks from now. We'll just dive in. We'll do a lot more training. Okay, now we kind of know what we're doing, and we have everything plugged in, ready to go. Okay, but over the next 2 weeks, I want everybody to at least be mastering this cry mode stuff. So, Jim, since you're sort of my top left over here, can you go ahead and do the 3-step vocal cry mode workflow game and show everybody how you do it, and we'll do some feedback.
Oh.
Yep.
I don't know if I can because I sort of was doing it different. I would just start with kind of the puppy whimper. Like I didn't do this exact workflow. Okay. So I don't know if I'm the guy to demonstrate to the newer people.
Okay. Well, you could show us what we're doing. There's other ways to get into cry mode. It'd be interesting to see what you've been doing. So, just real quickly.
So if I'm doing, I would start with, and I just try to keep the tone of crying or the feeling of crying when I'm doing the sound.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a good demonstration.
So that's good. So what that translates to is Jim has been going into buzzing on the nasal, which is the next thing we're going to get to. He's been doing a track and release onset. You may have seen the onsets, the newer folks. The first one is called the track and release onset. And to track means to buzz on a nasal, Amy. Okay, all right. So when we buzz on a nasal, we need cry mode. So what Jim is saying is he puts a puppy whimper behind it, which is exactly what you want to do. So this is buzzing on a nasal without cry mode. It's sort of shovey, it's weighty, it's thick. That's not going to work. If you do the warm-up exercises, which was coming next, if you do the warm-ups without cry mode in the buzz in that nasal position, it's going to push again. You're just going to start pushing again. However, if you do what Jim is advising you to do and you put a puppy whimper behind it, you see how I'm still kind of crying a little bit. What's happening, Amy? My vocal folds are thinned out again. I'm in the proper position and I can get the agility and the movement that I need. All right? So it's not only on the vowels, it's on the consonants too, especially the nasals. Thank you, Jim. That's helpful. You're a little bit ahead of us, but that's great. Kaz, can you do the 3-step vocal cry mode workflow game for us, please?
I'm not going to put it on. I'm just going to do like this. Hi, my name is Kaz. Oh, I'm having a really, really, really tough time today. You know, the clouds are getting dark. Oh my goodness, the roof is coming off. Help! Help! Help me!
Okay, so that is a version of the 3-step vocal workflow game without discipline. I want you to do it, Kaz. I want it to be really super clear, okay? I know you can do it. So give me speech mode, then cry mode, speak to me in cry mode, and then give me a note. And we're gonna get through, everybody's gonna get a chance to do this before we go for the day, okay? Then we'll do some Q&A. All right, so Kaz, do it the proper way, please.
Hi, my name is Kaz, and I'm about to show you how to go into cry mode. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Hey, yeah. Amen. Hey, yeah.
Okay. So what I would like to see you do, put this in your notes, Cass, for our next lesson when we review this again, is I want you to clean up your workflow. All right. So class, in the training program, in the book, and in the course, the method for training the workouts oftentimes is workflows. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Okay, so the sequential steps to a process. And the 3-step vocal cry mode workflow game is a 3-step workflow. You have to be disciplined on the workflow. You can't be messy with it. If you're clean on the workflow, then the results will be better. All right. So Kaz, I'm giving you a C on that. All right. It's what you're doing is helping you, by the way. It's kind of the right idea. I just want you to do a better job at it. Okay. Clean that up. Oz, you want to give it a go?
Sure.
Okay.
Techniques for developing cry vocal mode. As primitive as this vocal mode sounds, it might be difficult to add it to your singing if you're used to singing.
Okay, so that was a good step 1, a good step 2, but your step 3 did not bridge and go above the passaggio. So let's try it again. Do you have your keyboard there?
I do.
You do. There you go. Give yourself a G4 or an A4. That's even better. Let's do that. So you're going to speak. You're going to speak like you're sad, and then you're going to siren up to that A4 whilst maintaining the configuration. Do it.
As primitive as this vocal mode is, it might be difficult to add it to your singing if you're used to singing.
Okay, that's the idea. That's a little bit better. But what we need to do is you need to change your vowel. He was, team, class, he was sirening up on an E. And inside the vocal track, an E happens to be one of the most difficult vowels to train and sing on, okay? Oftentimes when we get thrown off, we get bucked off the saddle when we're singing, when the voice breaks, it's because we're passing through an E in our lyrics. Interesting thing that you weren't aware of, but it's happening every day. So all I'm trying to say is, Oz, let's do it again, but let's do an open vowel so it's a little bit easier for your training, okay? Don't siren up on an E or an oo, any of these closed vowels. Do an A as in eggs, okay? You guys getting all this? Amy, we're almost to you. We'll get to you real quick. Hang on, you guys. I just got to go downstairs and unlock my door. It'll take me 30 seconds. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, Oz, go ahead and do it anyways. Train. Okay, I'll be right back.
It's difficult to add it to your singing if you're used to singing without it. I made him run away. Dang it. Now my dog runs out when I sing. My coach runs out when I sing.
Well, don't get lost.
Hey, the 4 of you are still there.
How do you do? I didn't hear it. How do you do?
You ran away.
His dog ran away.
I think I did better this time. I feel I did better.
All right, all right. One more time, Oz. One more time. Let's make it quick.
Okay, it might be difficult to add it to your singing if you're used to singing without it.
No. No. Okay, step 1, I'm in speech mode. All right, step 2, I'm in cry mode. I'm talking to you in cry mode. Step 3, whoa, yeah. All right, if you don't get to the note, if you don't get to the singing note, then you kind of you're not getting what you're supposed to be getting out of this. This is about bridging and getting high, right? Okay, all right. So Oz, I want you to write down in your homework, like Kaz, you need to work on your workflow a little bit better. And on step 3, you got to get to the G or the A. In fact, you even gave yourself that cue. You gave yourself an A4 cue, but you didn't go there. Okay? All right, I know you know what to do, just practice it, clean it up. It's all about command and control and motor skills here. Okay, Polly, guess what? As they say in Montpellier, on y va, on y va. I don't know if that's right or not, but I've learned a little bit of French through the years. All right, so Folly, you getting it? Step up a little bit more so we can see more of you. You're kind of down. Yeah, there you go. All right, great.
I'm trying the first step of the vocal mode. Now I'm trying the second, and it's getting.
Folly, that's the idea. You get it conceptually, okay? And what I liked about your workflow is you had nice clean workflows. Your speech was speech, your talking sad was talking sad, and when you went to your exotic singing note, it was clearly not speech or the other two. Okay, that's good. Now, do you have your keyboard there?
Yes, but it's not plugged in.
All right, so put this in your homework. In our next lesson, I want you to have your keyboard plugged in and your facilities ready to go. All right? Okay, cool. So let's do this again. When you go from step 2 to step 3, don't stop. And I forgot to mention that. So watch me real quick. I'm in step 1. Actually, it's all sort of in one breath. Okay, I'm talking to you in step 1, okay? Or no, I'm talking to you in step 2. Notice that from step 2 to step 3, I'm not going to stop and breathe again because I don't want to reconfigure the lyrics. Whoa! Okay, does that make sense? If between 2 and 3, if you stop and take a breath and then go again, you've dropped all the configuration. Amy, you've dropped all the configuration. And you got to rebuild again in a tenth of a second. So we get into the configuration and we maintain it through the entire workflow. Okay? All right. Folly, let's do it again. Clean up, please.
This is the first step of the vocal cry mode. And now I'm trying the last step.
There you go. Very good. Very good. Very good. That was a good workflow. Conceptually, you get what we're trying to do. You get the game. And 3, that last note, sort of the payoff was a nice A4, okay? And that's the idea. Now, you step back. We step back and we remember that A4 that Foley just gave us, and we think about it. We listen to it internally right now. Was that note speech? Was that speech mode? Or is that actually a vocal sound that could be dropped into singing somewhere? Made it sort of an obvious answer, but I just want to encourage you to be listening to the sounds that we're making and be sort of critical and objective about it, okay? Granted, it was just a moment for 2 seconds, that's fine. But were you to take that same configuration and extend it out for 5 minutes or a 2-hour show, then you're singing, okay? So in some sense, where we go beyond this, once you get this down, is to maintain it and sustain it for 2 hours for your training and for your singing through this whole full song, okay? Foley, you're doing the best one so far. Okay, let's do it again. Show us how we do it, Foley. Do it again. Real clean workflow, please. Step up. Let's get. But don't do that. Get right up to the camera. Let's go. There you go.
This is the first step of the vocal cry mode, and now I'm trying the last step.
I like it. Let's do it one more time. From 2 to 3, I want you to siren. So I want you to siren from the lower position. All right, I'm in cry mode from the lower position. Whoa! Okay, I want you to siren up from the bottom up to the passaggio. We want some movement, if we can get some movement into this, okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
With a super amplitude. Okay, here we go. Do it.
I'm trying to.
Okay. All right. How does that feel? How does that feel?
I think I'm thinking too much, but it's just let it be, I guess. It's quite easy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Did you
Okay.
feel any gripping?
Yeah, there is nothing. I don't feel anything here. It's just going. Yeah.
Yep, that's a good report. Yeah, there's no gripping, there's no pushing, and really, again, that top note, I would like you to get to it better. I'd like that movement to be better, but the note was the good, strong, pretty, powerful, belty thing. Okay, that can be worked on. Okay, so just like the others for our class 2 weeks from now, I want to see your workflow super clean. Okay. Watch my videos, watch how I do it in the video, and get geeky about it. Don't be half-assed. Get it really super clean, okay? All right.
It doesn't bother to open, because usually you said the horizontal embouchure is better, but if we do it like that, it's okay. Still okay.
Great question. Great question. Your embouchure was a little too wide. You dropped it. Yeah. Yep, you dropped your jaw a little too much. All right, so try not to do that. And it's tricky. It's tricky to not drop your jaw too much, but in the training, it's a good idea to keep it sort of compressed there. There's benefits for that. It forces you to forces you to shape your vowels internally inside the vocal tract and less with the lips, because your jaw doesn't have to move quite as much when you're singing. It's more efficient. It's easier to articulate the lyrics. It makes your tongue work more and your jaw less when you're articulating the lyrics. The tongue is a great athlete. The tongue is a great athlete, and the jaw is just a clunky, hingy, bone, clunky thing. So if we can get more dexterity, more agility out of the tongue, better for our singing. One way to get there is to have a horizontal embouchure, which means we're gonna stop the jaw movements or lower the jaw movements and increase the tongue movements. And that makes us sing better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So those, and also a horizontal embouchure, the sound waves can sort of can get energy, can get resonant color and energy off the molars. So when the mouth is a little bit closer, you can get some energy and color off the teeth, which is a good thing. It adds brilliance and some bite to your sound. Okay, if we go we don't get as much in the teeth. Okay, now sometimes you're gonna have to drop your jaw and go wide. It's that, in every song you'll probably have to a few times, but as a general practice, try to maintain it in a horizontal position as much as possible, especially if you're just sustaining a vowel. Yes, Kaz.
I have to ask a question. Why do some vocalists, when they sing a high note, why do they do this? And some go, what is the reason for that? Do you know what I mean? When you see some of these vocalists, I've seen some of them, they sit at the mic and they think when they go high, they've got to go.
I think that is mostly just theater.
Oh, just theater.
I think so. And that's okay, because singing is theater. We like to think that singing is something other than drama, but I got news for you. We fall underneath the drama. It's drama. It's really just music theater with a lot of solos.
I don't find that comfortable at all. I can't do this.
Right? It's just drama. Do your own thing. It's fine. Sometimes it's just I think it's just really cool to see somebody really singing great and just having like absolute like minimalist control.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Right? Okay, Amy. No, I wasn't gonna forget about you. You're not gonna get away without making a fool out of yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, step up. Fill in the frame.
Okay.
Okay, great. Let's give this a go. You've been taking notes, so we expect yours to be the best.
Okay. So what I want, you've got, but it may be hard to handle, like the flame.
Good. That says that you get it conceptually. You kind of get you get the game. You understand the rules of the game. That's good. It had a workflow to it. That's good. Clean up the workflow from 2 to 3. what I was talking about earlier, from 2 to 3, from talking like you're sad to the high performance singing resonance. Let's get a little bit, let's siren up to that note, okay?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Like the flame that burns the like the flame that burns the candle, the
No.
No?
I'm Amy, I'm in speech mode. I'm Amy, I'm talking like I'm sad. Whoa! We want 3 steps. You gave us 2 and they were smudgy. Okay, I want 3 clean workflow steps. Talk to just regular speech mode, then talk like you're sad, then take that note and siren up to your target note, which would be the A4.
Candle that feeds the candle that feeds the flame.
There you go. That's the idea. Let's do it again. When you get to that top note, sometimes students will do this. They go to all this work, these onsets, the cry mode, the mic, everything. They go to all this preparation, and they get to the note. They get to that destination note, which I'll call it. In Amy's case, we got a B flat. And they do this. And they're done. Don't do that.
Okay.
Don't do that. You put all this work and effort to get to that note. When you get to that note, sustain it. Hold on to it.
Okay.
Hold on to it. Massage it. Let the body sit in that position and build the motor skills for that note. Make sense?
Yeah.
Don't just like tickle it and run away. Okay, so Amy, let's do it again. When you get there, I want you to sustain. Show us how it's done.
The candle feeds the flame.
There you go. There you go. That's okay. Now, in your vocal fold configuration, we hear a little bit of air bleeding through the glottis. Okay, glottis is this fancy voice lesson talk for the space between the vocal cords. Okay, so it's a little bit of air coming through. So we're kind of getting. It's a little bit windy. What I want you to do is I want you to lean into cry mode more. Remember how we talked about the compression?
Yeah.
Okay. We don't want that wind. Now, stylistically, from time to time, we may want windiness in our singing as an effect for a love song or something. That's a whole other discussion. That's a song coaching stylistic discussion. But for training, for the kinesthetics and building the motor skills and getting this compression done, I want you to do it again with no wind. No wind. Okay? Yeah! I don't want to hear wind bleeding through the glottis. We want to hear full tone. Do it again, please.
Okay. The candle feeds the flame.
Much better, much better. Does that sound better, class? It was just a little bit more compressed, a little bit stronger. Okay, one more trick. Okay, Amy, one more trick. All right, step up. Fill in the frame. Great. I want you to take the tip of your tongue. This is your tongue. This is the back of your bottom teeth. Take your tip of your tongue when you press it against the back of the bottom teeth. Okay, when you're sustaining that top note. Yeah! Anchor your tongue against the back of the bottom teeth. It gives you support and anchorage. It gives you anchorage, and it creates sympathetic contractions down the line. It makes everybody. It helps make your vocal folds conduct and compress better. Okay, and it gives you stability. All right. Do it again, and just yeah. When you're on that vowel, lean in. Tip of the tongue gets back bottom teeth. Here we go. Do it again.
The candle feeds the flame.
Okay, do it again. Give me a horizontal embouchure. You're a little bit too wide, and open your eyes, please.
The candle feeds the flame. No, sorry. The candle feeds the flame.
Right. I could tell that you weren't pushing hard enough on your on with your tongue a little bit. That's okay. It's a new thing. I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you. Okay, but this is a cool little technique. All of you. This tongue anchoring idea. It. Remember how I said the tongue is a great athlete? It's just a big muscle that can twist and do all kinds of fun, different things, right? So if we take that muscle, there's so much potential. There's so much we can use the tongue to help us sing better. Push it against the back of bottom teeth. Get that muscle behind it, and it anchors. It anchors everything in. Okay. When we're trying to sustain big vowels and we're trying to develop. Okay, you wouldn't do it when you're trying to sing soft and pretty, probably, but when you're trying to work out and get resistance training, you're going to want to anchor down. Okay. All right. Well, we went over time. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Yeah, Jim.
I see you're recording this. A friend of mine was very interested in doing this, but he kind of chickened out at the last minute.
Okay.
Would it be possible for him to get a copy of this video so that he could at least know what he missed?
Yeah. I am going to go into our little private classroom space on the website and attempt to drop this in there for us, for people that are in the service. And you have my permission to share with your buddy if he wants to join us.
Okay, so if people want to, and another friend of mine is possibly interested. So if people come in later, they would be able to see these videos.
Yeah, we're going to archive these videos.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, share little video with Jim. And I think where this will probably end up going is splitting into two classes, a little more advanced, and then beginners coming in, backfilling through the back. So those of you that were more experienced today, I do appreciate your patience and allowing us to get, Foley and Amy up to speed. But at this point, you're all sort of like at the same position. Not to suggest that the review wasn't helpful for you. Okay.
No, I need the review. I got to tell you.
Yeah.
Gosh, we do. Rob, we definitely do.
Okay, and I'm beginning to see where this is going. This is probably going into classes like class 1, class 2, class 3, green class, blue class, orange class. Yeah. Okay. All right. So it's sort of cool. You guys were the very first class, and I think that's sort of cool, and I think it's just something to sort of be proud of. And was this helpful for you? Was this helpful?
Super awesome. Super helpful.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely.
All right. What I want, as I said, we're a team on this. We're building this together. What other people do in the future and the more value they get out of it is in large part inspired by what we build, what we create together on this. So apart from being my customer and me helping you sing better, I want you to give me some feedback on email. Can you send me an email and say, this is what I liked, maybe try this next time. Let's do that. Okay. Because you're going to refine this. Yeah. Oh, hang on, Cass. I think Amy had a question.
I just had a question with the scheduling, but if you're breaking up into multiple classes, I don't know. Only because I know you're doing every other Saturday, so this is the Saturday that doesn't work as well for me. So originally it was supposed to be last week. It just would work a little better for me if that was possible. That's all I'm asking. Yeah, in case we go over and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. So we went over. That's another issue. I guess I owe you an apology for going over. That's something to be concerned that I should be keeping track of. But Amy, I'm not sure I understand what your question is. Is it that
I have something that is also every other week, but it happens to be today. So if we had done it last Saturday, it would work a little better for my schedule. That's all. I was asking if it would be possible to do that with whatever level I guess I'm in, the beginner. Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I'm sorry about last weekend. I was confused too. But then when I was there, nobody was there. So and then I went out and looked at my own schedule. I'm like, oh, now I know why. So the next lesson we're going to have is 2 Saturdays from now. Okay. And I'm expecting to see you guys there with your homework done. All right. And we're going to pick it up from the cry mode and we're going to move forward. All right. And we may have a few more beginners there. I will go quickly over the beginner stuff, but I kind of see where this is going to go. I'm going to need more of an onboarding class and probably an ongoing class and sort out my curriculum a little bit. But okay, but you guys, we're going to be moving forward. So the week after next, Amy, I'm hoping you can join us.
Yeah, I guess it depends. I probably have to leave a little early then if it's 2 weeks from now instead of next week. Yeah, I was just asking if it's possible to change the Saturday. But
So you want me to like flip the entire schedule?
yeah, only if it works for people. I don't know if it affects people.
Well, I don't know. So why don't you guys send me emails and you can add that to it. Like if that's okay with you guys or not, then I can change it. I'm inclined not to, Amy, because I have to go into the system and delete it and put it back in.
Yeah.
It's gonna break, and then I got to get my IT guy in there to go in there and I mean it could turn into a mess for me. But I'll consider it. If everybody comes back and says, yeah, let's flip the weeks, then we'll do it.
Okay.
So it's worth looking into. All right, guys. So you all have your homework. In our next session, make sure you have notes. I noticed that today we need to take notes, like because each one of you will have like a little thing that I want you to go after. Okay. I think overall we want to make sure that we have all of our facilities set up, privacy, mic, everything that's sort of ready to go. Keyboards. Don't come to a lesson without a keyboard. All right. That'll make Coach Robert a little grumpy. All right. And then we're going to work on cry mode. Okay, cry mode. I want to get all of you can improve on that 3-step cry mode workflow game. Okay, and then the last thing that I want you to do is I want you to send me a private email, Robert at the Vocalist Studio. Give me feedback on our session today. This was cool. Maybe try this next time if you have good ideas. And let me know how you feel about the changing the schedule. I'm open to it, provided that if it works for everybody. Then I don't have a problem with that, Amy. I want you to be here. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, and good job. I will. I'll archive this video up on the little community area that we have for the live people, and that was fun. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Go train. Go train.
Thank you.